Good afternoon, everybody, on this hump day, Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. I got all of your stories for your rush hour ride home. First half of the episode, we'll be talking to Megan Fox, investigative journalist, covering the Laura Owens trial, live from San Francisco. She gives updates to day 2 of the trial. I'll also give you some thoughts on the Louvre jewelry heist that, of course, has made headlines this week. Then on part 2 of this episode, if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be a separate video. Part 2, we will discuss the gag order in the Charlie Kirk, the trial against Tyler Robinson. A gag order making a lot of news. Who can speak out? Who needs to remain silent? As there are something like 3,000 potential witnesses, everyone who was there on that tragic day. Also, Trump is beefing up his tariffs on China. We'll get into that. And we've got a journalist suing the First Lady of the United States of America over her attempt to stop his book from coming out. Lots of stories to get into, all this and more, and it starts right now on The Rush. Before we get to today's featured interview with Megan Fox, let's get an update on the jewels that were stolen from the Louvre. Here is the Today Show, which is the Australian, I guess, version of the Today Show. It's, by the way, they do everything better in Australia. Here is their updates on the stolen jewels that were not insured. Oh boy, have a listen.
The jewels stolen from the Louvre earlier this week were not insured and were worth an estimated $157 million. The Paris prosecutor tasked with leading the investigation into the heist, adding that that estimate doesn't even include their historical value and their meaning to France. Around 100 investigators are now involved in the hunt for the thieves.
All right, so there it is. No updates on who they are, where they're from, no photos, none of that. So will the thieves get away? Now, in my sort of anti-billionaire stance, I have to wonder, do I want to live in a society where we care so much about a royal family's crown jewels? I mean, I love history. I love artifacts. Not a huge fan of museums. I don't know. They get kind of boring and stuffy. I think the thing I don't like about museums is actually the humans that go to museums. There's always that kid who's sneezing, and it's like, does he have to be next to me? You know, like, I would love to see the Mona Lisa, but not with like 95 other German people. I don't know why they had to be German. But either way, you get it. It's the hygiene aspect of museums that doesn't do it for me. If you want to give me like a James Bond style private evening showing, I'll go to a museum, but I'm not going when it's, vacation week and all of the kids are there like brats, making TikTok videos in front of, the statue of David. Okay, so let's move it on. Anyway, that was that. We're going to get to our featured interview. It's a big story. Mike Maricini, again, is defending himself as Laura Owens attempts to get a extension on her domestic violence restraining order. Of course, being made into a docu-series audio version. It's being made into a podcast. I'm hearing it's going to be released sometime in 2026. I can't give many details about that, but my thinking is that it's going to be massive and it's going to lead to a major streaming docu-series. Again, we've been covering this religiously, some might say, for the last 2 years. You could argue that the Laura Owens trial and all of the cases surrounding her has been my crown jewels heist, as we've broken into the metaphorical Louvre and deconstructed all of Laura's lies. Boy, that's a mouthful, but Laura knows a thing about that. Looking at you, big boy Clayton Eckert. Anyhow, here's my chat live update from the courthouse. This is my chat with Megan Fox. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big update coming from San Francisco. Investigative journalist Megan Fox on the scene. Laura Owens trial day 2. How are you, Megan?
I am great. I'm good. I'm tired. We went to the House of Prime Rib last night and really, we partied it up, Dave.
Wow, you got to get that protein load for a nice busy work day. So walk me through what happened yesterday. And if you could give my audience just a real quick reminder of why this trial is happening.
All right. Well, Laura Owens has she's got some real trouble with the courts, shall we say. Faked pregnancies in at least 3 cases that we know of. She's under felony indictment in Maricopa County. There's a huge truck going by, lots of traffic. She's under indictment in Maricopa County for 7 felonies for perjury, lying under oath in the Clayton Eckert matter, and Greg Gillespie. But we're here in San Francisco to talk about Mike Maricini. Mike Maricini is the man that she had we think it's a fraudulent restraining order she's had on him for 5 whole years. And instead of dropping it, well, she filed to renew it. But Mike, we raised a bunch of money for Mike to have an attorney and actually fight back. And that's what's happening. And yesterday, she didn't show up, Dave.
Yeah, so she no-shows. The judge said that it's highly recommended you show up. She tried to get multiple continuances, correct? And then you were in the courthouse. What was the sort of vibe from the judge?
Well, she was incorrect, not the judge. Laura was incorrect that it was highly suggested. That was an incorrect minute entry. What the judge actually said in the order was, you are ordered to be here. And she did not. And the judge, first thing she said was, why aren't you in my courtroom? I ordered you to be here. That's not the first thing you want to hear when you show up in court and the judge is not happy with you. And Laura gave, her usual excuses. She's got medical problems. They're life-threatening. That's what she says anyway. And the judge wasn't buying it. The judge did not care. Judge Gold said, I have no motion before me. I have no doctor's report before me. And you need to get on a plane or dismiss this case.
So you're waiting for the trial to start. You're a few hours behind us. What are the odds that Laura shows up?
She's not coming. Zero. She did not file for permission from the prosecutor in Maricopa County to come. And she has to do that. She can't leave the state without permission from the prosecutor. So there is no chance that she'll be here. Zero.
Will you be sending her a Venmo request for your travel costs?
You know what? I made the decision knowing that she was probably not going to show up. I bought tickets that were refundable just in case, but I made the decision to come anyway because court was going forward whether or not Laura was here. And I did want her to know that we're covering this case, whether she shows up or not. We're all going to be here. And I think it's important. We've been following this case for how long, Dave? 2 years now?
Yeah,
2
sure.
years.
2 years, and Mike's finally had the chance. I actually wanted Laura to be there because I wanted Mike to be able to face her and come out victorious. But what's your feeling? Assuming she isn't there, she's going to just have to drop it? Will she then make an excuse that she didn't want to drop it, but she did? Can she refile?
Well, the judge answered that question yesterday. If she doesn't show up today, I have a feeling that the judge will dismiss it with prejudice, which means she cannot refile it here. She can't refile it against Mike here. She could refile it. Actually, no. If the judge dismisses it with prejudice, I don't think she can refile. If Laura dismisses it, she can refile, but she hasn't done that. As far as I know, I have not seen Omar Serrato, Mike's attorney, this morning yet. I don't know what happened overnight. Maybe there's a deal, I guess, that could have happened before court, but we haven't seen them yet, so I don't know.
So there's no cameras in the courthouse, so you have to walk me through this. Laura shows up on Zoom with her rumored boyfriend, alleged, although maybe not, and I guess her volunteer attorney, David Gingras. Were they on Zoom together, or were they piping in from different locations?
It was difficult for me to see where they were because I was far away, but they were on two different cameras. So I think they were in two different locations. So
this brings me to a greater question that I have. Laura said that she's suffering from severe anorexia, which I don't doubt. There is such thing as child protective services, and then there's protective services for people that need conservatorships. I truly believe Laura needs the help of the government, possibly to save her life. What steps can be taken to not just get justice for Mike, Greg, and Clayton, but also at this point make sure this doesn't take a drastic turn?
In my opinion, it's prison and prison only. That's the only thing that's going to stop her. And yeah, your idea about guardianship, perhaps, but unfortunately, that system is really difficult and fraught with a lot of problems of its own. And I don't know, with parents like she has, I guess they would be the ones who would be her guardians. And would that solve the problem?
Well, that seems to be the problem, right?
Right.
You take Ron out of the equation. He seems to be kind of non-existent at this point, but her mother, seems to be the root of this problem. And I would hate to see this go down even a darker path. But I also don't want to stop going after justice. So, I don't know what that means for her, but she's clearly, she's screamed this from the top of her lungs that she has mental health issues, brain damage, and it's like, we believe you, Laura, but you got to stop these charades. Like
But
both
you
things.
got to get help. I mean, when she says she's got life-threatening anorexia, life-threatening PTSD, the obvious question is, why aren't you in the hospital? If it is so bad that you are in need of a transfusion, which is one of the things that she claimed in her motion, that she's at transfusion level needs, then why isn't she hospitalized right now? If she has lost even more weight and is at 84 pounds, please get to the hospital. Please get into an ER. No one wants to see her, waste away and something bad happen. But see, we find it hard to believe because she isn't in a hospital. And I think if you're at that point, as you say you are, you would be in the hospital.
I know. I mean, when we saw her from the the body cam footage back in January, she was shaking like a wet chihuahua, and she's probably only gotten worse from there. But yeah, I mean, it's ironic she's still coming after Mike when her greatest sort of enemy is herself at this point, right? She's only at risk to do harm to herself.
And that's how we see it, but she's also at risk to do harm to other people. That's the biggest problem right now, is that she has not been controlled. And because of that, by her parents or herself, the state has to step in and do it because she's going to harm other people. We've seen how many people she already has harmed. And look, Dave, since I've been here, let me just say, I have spoken with some people because we're local. We're in San Francisco. I've been contacted by people who knew Laura for years. And it's not just Mike and Greg and Clayton. She has been doing this to people for a very long time. And there are people out there who are still scared to come forward to say what it is she did to them. But the harassment, the levels of harassment are off the charts, Dave. The things that she's done to people in her life are just absurd. She needs to be stopped. It's weird how everywhere we go, anywhere where Laura Owens has been, anyone whose lives she's touched, they have a story, and it isn't a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane what she tried to do to her former friend, one of the last people to defend her. And I mean, she's like mob style, what do they call that? Darvo, right? She just immediately deflects and punishes her former friend with some of the worst accusations you can make, which are not, founded with any evidence. And, it just goes to show her blueprint for how it's like you're either on her side or you are an arch enemy. Now, what's
Dave, I also did find out, I know this is one thing I found out talking to Mike's attorney, is that witness, that was her former friend, was a witness on the witness list for Mike Maricini. After Laura did what she did, that witness backed out of testifying. That could be considered witness intimidation. She's
totally
on a witness list, and then Laura goes public with something, horrible accusations, which I don't think we should even talk about or give any credence to, because it's probably all lies. It's just meant to harass and defame. And that witness is now refusing to testify. And so that could have harmed Mike's case. Is that something that the prosecutor should look at in Maricopa County, or heck, here in San Francisco, in California? Should a prosecutor find out if Laura Owens intimidated a witness in this case?
Oh, she absolutely did. Now, with regards to the sort of vibes with Mike and Clayton, who was there yesterday, is Mike's family there? How are they feeling? What's the update with that?
Mike's wife is here. She's feeling very frustrated. She said to me yesterday, we have children, real babies at home that need us. And she, her aunt had come to help them take care of the baby while they're here, and she would just rather not be here. And Laura's wasting everyone's time. Laura's the one who brought this. She needs to show up and fight her case. You can't file something and then decide at the last minute you don't want it. You don't want any of the smoke. This is where the fight is, Laura. You should have shown up. You wanted it. Where's your evidence? She says she has evidence, so come and make your case in front of Judge Gold.
Yeah, and the courthouse is the safest place she can be. This idea that she can't confront these guys, it's she hides behind Zoom and telehealth, and it's a real wild
Listen,
world.
we had dinner with Clayton last night. He was with us, and he was with us in the courthouse yesterday. And as big as he is, and as as in shape and big guy that he is, you'd think that Clayton is not scared of anything. Well, that's not true. He's very nervous to show up at court when Laura's going to be here. He's concerned for his own safety. That's how, and it's not just him. I've heard Greg Gillespie say the same sort of thing, that he's got cameras all over it by his house to see if, because he's afraid one day she's going to show up in the middle of the night and do something. These guys are the ones who are living in fear of her. It needs to stop.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't like to breathe too much air into it, but I have the same issue with my wife, who wonders, with our address being available online,
Right.
what sort of revenge might come and in what shape. And it's sad that they have to feel that way, but hopefully today will be one step closer to getting some of that justice. And thanks again for giving us an update. And text me or let me know if anything else comes up. Are you going to be live streaming after?
Yes, we did have Wi-Fi issues and power issues yesterday that really got in the way. But I was able to move rooms, and they promised me I'm closer to the router, and we're not going to have that problem today, so they say. If that should happen, I will probably pack up all my things and head to Omar's hotel and use their Wi-Fi there, is what we
Boy, I would not want to be on the technical side of a Megan Fox issue. Oh, my gosh, that poor man who's trying to deal with the rat. They probably got extension cords leading up to your apartment.
There have been words. No, I will say that they've been really accommodating and very kind and very helpful, trying to help us solve the situation. So we'll see. It should get better today. And but it made for a lot of hilarity for yesterday's live stream. I was carrying chairs across rooms, and we kept switching cameras. It was insane. It was crazy.
Well,
but you got to do what you got to do when you're on the road. These things don't always go according to plan.
That's right. Well, listen, at the next trial, I hope to actually be by your side. But thanks for holding down the fort, and appreciate all the updates.
We miss you for sure, and we wish you were here, but we're happy you were living your best life playing baseball.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, Dave.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. Now, coming up next, we're going to get into the Charlie Kirk case. So stick around for that. We're going to hear about the gag order and also the tariffs, what's going on, how this will affect our world. I mean, listen, you don't think these tariffs affect your life? Go try to buy a Christmas tree. I tried to buy a Christmas tree. They're literally twice as expensive, one of those fake ones. So I guess I'm going to have to chop something down in my local forest. All right. All those stories and more coming up next on The Rush.